Okay, so no surprise, it's January 6th. If you're a never Trumper like me, you certainly got to say something on January 6th. I mean, January 6th, 2020 is a really historic day in American history. And for me, pretty much told you exactly who Trump is. And I got to say, I think this Venezuela thing is like chapter two, right? I mean, Trump is using the military as his, weapon and doing anything he wants. And being the bully that he is, he picks on countries who can't possibly withstand America's military might, and he does what he wants with them. And Mike Johnson, let me ask you, why is that okay with you? Man, if you were a statesman, excuse me, like George Washington was, or like a lot of our founders were, who gave up so much for this wonderful idea of American democracy, I mean, you wouldn't let this happen. But instead, you're, a Trump toady and an enabler. And you're going to go down in history like Mitch McConnell as one of the horrible people who gave Trump the ability to do these horrible things. And, America's not America anymore. I mean, I'm afraid of our government. I'm afraid of our government. I mean, and I'm a citizen. That I, that's it's spectacularly different than the country I grew up in. I mean, it's amazing to me. I've made other videos, yelling at the 273. Imagine that. 273 different people, all of them elected, all of them claiming at least to be Republicans, but they're not. They're like MAGA idiots. I mean, they're 100% enablers. The founders intended the power of the U.S. government to be in Congress. More than that, in the House. The House is supposed to be closest to the citizens and be have their finger on the pulse of what the citizen is looking for. That's why they're elected every 2 years, and that's why all the power is in the House, because they want it to reflect the will of the people. With the Senate 6 year terms, kind of a more conservative, supposedly representing their states as sort of the approval and screening process for what the House wants to do. I mean, today all the power lies in the president. And that's not, in fact, that's exactly what the founders were afraid of, which is why Hamilton talks about that in the Federalist Paper number 65, which I already did a video on, which I know nobody watches these videos, but, as I say, it makes me feel better. But I'm just staggered. I mean, I have loved this country my whole life and identified with it. At least I felt that I did. I felt free. I felt empowered. I felt honored to be part of this American democracy. And it's not there anymore. I mean, I can't believe, first of all, that 77 million people elected this guy. Us, American citizens, 77 million of us elected this guy. I have to believe that though a lot of those 77 million people didn't know what Trump was like and didn't anticipate this behavior. At least I hope that's true. I'd hate to think that 77 million of us are all behind this and think it's wonderful. What what happened to your view of America before this? I mean, did woke change your view of American democracy? because, I don't know how many trans people there are in the world, but not many. But it's true, certainly, at least in my view, that the uh, more extreme side of the left put those trans people in our face every day. I think they did a lot more harm to those people than good. I know their intentions were to give them freedom, which I think is the corner of American democracy, to make every citizen as free as they can be. And until Trump, I think that's true. Now it's intended to make every billionaire as free as they can be. And if you want to do something outrageous, all you got to do is kiss Trump's ass or give him money, and you can do it. So, anyway, January 6th, 2026. Look where we are. Look where we are. How can 273 of you sitting in Congress think that's okay? What happened to you? Marjorie Taylor Greene, ironically, is the person who speaks out? It's really disappointing. It's horrifying and terrifying. At least it is to me. Okay. So I got to say, I feel sorry for a lot of the members of the United States military, because I'm confident that they have followed illegal orders. And ironically, it wasn't long ago that, I mean, Mark Kelly is currently in trouble, right, for telling people they don't have to follow illegal orders, which of course is absolutely correct and part of the military code. But, a lot of people are, I understand it. When my son, one of my children, wanted to join the military a few weeks ago, I said to him, I won't let you do it because I don't want you to be shot for refusing to carry out an illegal order, because my son would not have pulled the trigger that blew up any of those boats. He would go to jail or be shot. He would. But some people in the military did that, and they just, bombed the hell out of Venezuela and extracted Maduro. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad to see Maduro out of office. He did successfully what Trump tried to do in 2020, on January 6, 2020. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, the members of the United States military who took direct action to do those things is got to be in trouble. I mean, those orders have to be illegal. I know that Mike Johnson, it's possible he's the devil, in a human form. I mean, it could be. But anyway, Mike Johnson just said, at least I saw the clip this morning, that that everything was lawful. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I know that's not true. I know that's not true. I mean, America, these things could not have happened in the America I lived in for, I don't know, 80 years, right? Trump was elected when I was 80. Yeah. So, I mean, I can't recognize this country. I mean, this is not the American democracy I signed up for. I can't believe our Congress. I just can't understand it. I mean, these are incredibly bright people, well educated, much better educated than I am. I mean, how can you have lived in this country, especially if you were born in this country and you lived your whole life in this country? How could you let what's going on go on? That's amazing. I do feel sorry for those members of the military. I understand I mean, in my work life, I did all kinds of things that I would not have done if I didn't feel superior was asking me, if I didn't know, a superior was asking me to do them. I did what I was told. I was ambitious and I wanted to succeed. And I, which by the way, made me a terrible CEO because you got to be, if you're CEO, if you think something isn't, if the company is not doing something or is doing something you don't think it should do or isn't doing something you think it should do, you have to stand up and say it. I have to say, I think I was the best number two. I was uh, uh, chief operating officer, and I think I was the best chief operating officer imaginable. I mean, I got a lot of positive feedback, so even though I'm sure my view of my performance is hyperbolic, I think a lot of people would agree that I did a very good job. In fact, that's why they made me CEO, but I don't think I was a good CEO. I was a follower. The board said, do this. Even though I knew I shouldn't, I did. So, anyway, uh, it's it's a tough game. So I have a great deal of sympathy for those members of the military who were involved in actually executing these attacks on the boats and on Venezuela to extract Maduro. I mean, I'm sorry you were put in that position. It's terribly unfair that you were put in this position. American institutions, regulations, norms did not anticipate from the founders. You get into what the founders wrote, get into the Federalist Papers, and the founders were afraid of Trump. They were. So, anyway, I'm sorry that the military was put in the position of having to follow what I'm sure are illegal orders.